Prepare yourself for what I'm about to say. There's a deep, uncomfortable truth waiting for you, and you need to hear it. It's easy to blame the things that divide us: race, ethnicity, religion, gender, beauty standards, politics. They seem like the battles we've been fighting for centuries. We've been told these things shape our lives, define who we are, and divide us in ways that justify the struggles we endure. But what if I told you that it's never been about any of those things? What if, for all the pain we've endured, the blood we've spilled, the battles we've fought, it's never been about us at all? It's about money. It's about capitalism. It's about power. It's always been about power. Now let's talk about race. Let's begin there. Because history has woven race into the fabric of society in ways that seem impossible to untangle. Think of slavery, colonialism, and segregation. Each one used race as a tool to justify exploitation. But did you know that these systems were never about race itself? It was about exploiting people who were seen as less valuable. It was about cheap labor, free labor. Think about the plantation, economies in the South, the slave trade that funded entire empires. The myth of racial superiority wasn't about any inherent trait. It was a system created to justify that black bodies, indigenous bodies, and colonized bodies were nothing more than resources to be exploited. The real reason for racism was economic. It was a way to keep certain powerless and certain people wealthy. Ask yourself, who profits when we're divided by race? Who benefits when we're conditioned to see each other as less than? Number two, ethnicity. Ethnicity, too, has been weaponized. In many parts of the world, ethnic groups have been manipulated to fight each other, while those in power simply sat back and watched the carnage unfold. This isn't just about tribalism, this is about managing people to keep them disempowered. Think of ethnic violence in places like Rwanda, Sudan, Nigeria, or even the Balkans. Leaders didn't incite violence over cultural differences. They did it because conflict is a tool to keep people from uniting against the real oppressor. The real divide is not between ethnicities, but between those who control the wealth and those who are left struggling for survival. Who benefits when we fight over a piece of land when we should be fighting for equal rights and opportunities? Let's talk religion. Now, religion has also been used as a weapon. Throughout history, wars have been fought in the name of God, and people have been oppressed and murdered for their faith or for refusing to believe at all. But it's not religion that is to blame, it's how it's used to control. The same structures that sought to control our race, our ethnicity, and our bodies have turned religion into a way to divide us, right? Take the Crusades or the Inquisition, for example. Wars fought not just for religious purity, but for territory and resources and power. The real driving force behind these conflicts wasn't religion. It was a desire to expand economic and territorial influence. Now ask yourself, who profits when we're divided by religion? Who benefits when our beliefs become tools of manipulation? Let's talk politics and political inclination, right? Now, this too is a game where the players change the rules to suit the interests of the wealthy. Politicians tell us what we want to hear, promising change, equality, and justice. But who actually benefits from political systems? The wealthy, the corporations, the systems of power that thrive on inequality. Think of policies around minimum wage, healthcare, or labor rights. Why is it that the people who work hardest are often the ones who remain the most impoverished? Why is it that the richest are never really taxed in a way that impacts their wealth? It's not about political parties, it's about who has the resources to manipulate the systems for their benefit. The divide is a distraction, a tool used to keep you fighting over crumbs while they feast. Now ask yourself, who profits when we're divided along political lines? Who benefits when we're too busy bickering to demand real change? Let's talk gender. The same old story of expectation is what is featuring here. Gender divides might seem like a battle we've made progress on, but it's a war that has been carefully constructed. For centuries, women were told they were lesser, kept out of positions of power and influence. But who benefits when half the population is kept out of the workforce? Capitalism. Capitalism thrives on undervalued labor, whether it's a labor of women in the home or the labor of men in dangerous industries. Gender inequality is tied directly to economic systems that benefit from cheap labor and exploitation. Take a closer look at the pay gap, the glass ceiling, and the laws governing women's reproductive rights. They aren't just about men versus women. They're about who controls resources, who owns businesses, who runs governments. Ask yourself again, who profits from gender inequality? Who benefits when we divide ourselves based on what's between our legs instead of what's between our ears? Beauty standard, the currency of insecurity, is what I call it. Beauty standards make us feel unworthy, unlovable, or insignificant. Have you ever stopped to ask why we're so obsessed with looking a certain way? Why our self-worth is linked to the way we appear? Because it's profitable. From skincare products to fashion, from diets to surgery, the beauty industry rakes in billions every year by feeding on our insecurities. But it's not just about beauty, it's about how capitalism has created a marketplace of self-doubt, a place where people are encouraged to invest in products that promise to make them feel valuable because they have been trained to feel that they are not enough. But who truly benefits from our obsession with the beauty? The corporations that profit from our insecurity. The advertisers who make us feel we need something we didn't even know existed. Now let's ask ourselves, who profits from our insecurities? Who benefits when we spend billions chasing an unattainable ideal? I need you to feel the weight of how deeply this system is rooted in all of us. It's not about race, your religion, your politics, or your gender, or even your beauty standards. These are just dividers designed to keep you distracted from the real problem. The problem is capitalism. The problem is power. The problem is greed. So, where do we go and what do we do with this truth? And I feel we have to go back to humanity, to critical thinking, to realizing that we are not the enemy. We are not the problem. We are a system of interconnected beings, not divided by the forces that seek to control us, but united by the realization that we deserve better. Will you continue to fight the wrong battles? Will you continue to live the lie that your value lies in your identity, in your race, in your gender, or your beauty? Or will you choose to see beyond that, to look at the real forces that control us and demand a world where we are all equal, where we are all valued? Because the truth is, our battle as a human race has always been the same. And I advise us all to take our power back by using our minds.